Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to Sabao the Showdown. It's me, Gonzo, and I'm this time accompanied by my friend Jake, who's gonna be joining me for some GP Showdown against Blue Purple Luffy. We're getting Division One players, so like the creme of the creme, and actually Sebi won last season, so he's trying to defend the title. And he's gonna be facing Asmir, who's our blue purple Luffy expert, pretty much. So it should be a very, very interesting game to watch, even though it's a matchup that I'd say it's a bit less spicy than the prior two we have. How are you feeling about this, Jake?
I'm all good. It's a little bit less spicy, but it's a very meta relevant matchup for this season, which is nice to see these two very high level players play a very high level matchup just as we're closing out the end of the season.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Week two of the season is kind of starting fairly strong, and we're going to see one of the signature matches. Also, thank you so much for the raid, Mr. Upperhand. We really appreciate it. Hope some of you enjoy good gameplay of One Piece. And I promise we're just going to get to the game in 1 second. Just taking a bit of a look at the player profiles because, yeah, there are some very, very good players. So we need to highlight them a tiny bit. Sebi is running hot all last seasons. And in spite of the win, it might be one of his first GP practice games, which is somewhat interesting. I don't think we did see him in GP at all last season.
No, he was mainly hovering around green deck. Well, actually, I say that if green purple isn't the green deck, but he was mainly playing the more traditional green decks like Bonnie and Red Green Smoker.
Yep, no, that's absolutely fair. Okay, I'm gonna start with the typical question that I ask pretty much every GP player, even though I suspect your answer already because I'm pretty sure we've spoken about this in private. You win the die roll as GP here. What do you take?
I hate picking this die roll, to be honest. I've personally been choosing first purely because my only really found I lost the matchup when they triple ramped
In first.
and I rolled.
Yep.
But this is one of the matchups where the dice roll is very close.
Mhm. No, I'm with you. I actually prefer going first because a lot of this matchup is about the dynamics and being able to pressure blue purple Luffy to the point where once they start dropping the Sanjis, you get to go for game and force them to give you the whole hand or die.
And
And
what
in
is
both cases,
lovely
you can have a bit of a comeback, right?
is you can play the Sandy Pudding on the 5 Don, and as your UP opponent is likely ramped,
Mhm.
you can have say stage already set up. You do get the draw, and you don't need to worry about even leader powering that turn.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's definitely an option. And alternatively, yes, if you manage to set up a stage just doing a sort of Euro swing in six, staging the sort of Euro and passing for like a more impactful turn on the way back is absolutely fine as well. And if the list is running some Frankie, which is not that common anymore, you can take advantage of the early ramp. Even though,
Interestingly enough, we are on Zoro Duro free cost rather than Frankie, which I know Haboya has been running lately.
Mhm. Yeah, gives you a similar advantage if you get to play him early, I guess. But it's a bit exposed to God threat, so that can be a bit tricky. Oh well, good start for Sevi. We did play the stage and get some consistency tools, so that's exactly where we want to be. Stage is kind of the star of this matchup because otherwise you are very, very exposed to God threat, and that's how you can get the game somewhat lost. And then I'd say either Luffy Taro and Secret Luffy are going to be doing extra work after the classic Sanji pudding shenanigans, right?
Although I do hate not seeing the Zoro Duro forecast on curve from Sebi here because that peaks down can really start piling up some pressure.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, but I guess we did get to swing at life, so there is something going on there. And
However,
now we
looking at life does come with a caveat that
bagwise, I
as
think.
there is now Bagwell live, and we have seen Asmir ramp twice going first here, so we really can't afford to swing into this Bagwell to avoid the triple ramp.
Yeah, that is definitely not where we want to be right now.
Luckily, we do have our Saju pudding. See, unfortunately, we don't have a full cost body to play down with this. A Zoroja again would have been lovely here.
Mhm.
But at least the Sanji pudding is there, so we can start really taking advantage of our leader power.
Oh no. I guess we're doing the check on Bagua. Do we have a Bagua for Asmir? We do not.
Oh,
We do not. Sebi calls the bluff. I'm not sure if on purpose. I'm hoping so. Um, and we do take this. Like we've seen double ram, so I guess since specifically the Bagua over there, it's kind of a bit risky.
that was
You call that?
very, very risky there.
Yeah, I don't I don't agree, and I actually don't like that Asmir swing in 6 here. Like I feel like Stebi is absolutely alright taking this line and setting himself up on Bagua territory as well. Um, and the extra resources are gonna help a tiny bit, but it's always alright to give a 1k. Sorry, yeah, a 1k out of this.
But
Um,
unfortunately, this 9 cost Mihawk does come down, and we are going to be getting rid of our one single copy of Sanji Pudding here, which does leave Sebi's board pretty empty. The good thing is, Asmir has no done up because of this, so Leader's Wing could be deadly. But Sebi is going to have to start from page 1 and building up a board here.
yeah, we are on 7 done. Okay.
And Luffy Taro is the card we want in this matchup to build up the board back again.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. This is an interesting situation actually because I guess we do want to protect Sanji Pudding and like offer the suite that is letting you the ability to give to get rid of another Luffy Taro instead. If we were to see Mihawk number 2 from the UP side, and
Actually,
then you
I
can
do
punish.
think I'd prefer protecting the Luffy Taro here. Purely because if we do have a, even if Asmir is to get rid of the Sanji Pudding with a God Threat or a, we'd have to use a Gravity Blade, he would essentially be passing his turn, which is not the end of the world, whereas a Sanji Mihawk could come down a lot easier onto the Luffy Taro.
I I disagree though. So like, hear me out. This is for one very specific reason, and it's the fact that if they go thread the Sanji Pudding, they have 5 done up. They pass the turn with 5 done up. They pressure your life uh, down to 2, right? And now they can definitely survive the way back. If Sebi has, I I kind of want my opponent to be playing that 9 cost at this point. So I prefer offering up the Luffy Taro rather than protecting it from Mihawk. And also, if they have a Mihawk, it's probably better for us if they remove Luffy Taro and Sanji Pudding on its spot. It's effectively the same, right? Because they both swing 8 after leader ability, but Sanji Pudding gives you a bit more flexibility over there. So I think it's probably all right. And I kind of, if I'm on this spot, I really want my opponent to just leave 1 on up and be exposed to DMG. While if they just play 5, 6, 9, they've drawn 2 cards, they have a giant that they just showed in hand, and it's going to be a lot harder to close the
Well,
game.
this is interesting. We did decide to giant this swing. Normally I'd have taken that. I think I'd have taken that every day to get down to 2 life and maximize my resources, especially because we're looking at a 0 life GP. So we
Yep.
would want more Don to put pressure on. But I am wondering if this is a sign that Sebi's hand may not be that great and that we just really are valuing the cycling effect of Gungam Giant here.
Okay, now Asmir is in a lot less trouble than before, but we do have a lot of 8k swings to be hitting with now, and we have seen even a 7, like an 8k succeed last turn. So even through Giant and the filtering from Nami, Asmir could be in some level of trouble.
Yeah, especially because we do have to respect Dead Man's Game here. If we did have Dead Man's Game here, What would you prefer, the two Don or a Don and a blocker?
I I think it's relatively simple. So for me, I just get rid of the both the Don, restand 3 of my 4 Don, right, and then I have 4 Don to split somewhat evenly, so you get to go 889 if you want
Yep,
to pressure, or just triple 8 and leave 1 Don up in case you want to protect something, I suppose.
and you can just turn a UP's hand entirely to bricks by turning off both Don.
Mm-hmm. I don't heavily dislike the 8 first because, yeah, now we get rid of. Oh my god. If we have a DMG, I think game's over on the spot right now.
Yep, DMG here would punish that a lot. But it looks like we don't. We are just poking with another 8. We are getting a Gum Gum Giant out for an 8k swing, which is effective for Sebi.
Yeah.
However, it does mean like we're not going to be able to go for lethal this turn.
Oh, that's where we want to be. Maybe we play a Sorojuro, lead 3 on up. Or actually do a 2k check. Leave 2 on up and swing 7. 18 to life.
It's certainly unusual. It looks like we're not going to be leader powering from Sebi this turn, unless we're choosing to leader power after. Um, but nope, we are just going to be passing with an 8k swing there.
I guess your leader being a 5 or 6 is not really relevant on defense that much because it's a very, very risky play if Asmir decides to go for game. And it might be even a bit of a sweeter deal to offer the leader as an easy thing to get to life. But now that Sanji pudding is gonna be the main target of everything, we see zero cost event to save it from the 7 swing. Sorry, the 9 swing.
I'm glad you recognize VO art.
It looks amazing. I actually managed to pick 2 of them in Spain that my brother's playing on his copy of GP Luffy because we are we share collection, but we like the deck so much that we built 2. And
We are
Sebi's hand
seeing
size is
double 9Ks
gone.
into this Sanji pudding. Sebi's managed to keep a surprisingly good hand size here while keeping 3 life, which is surprising. Normally, I found myself losing hand size in this matchup quite a bit.
Oh, Sanji pudding is gone. And now we are in deep trouble.
Now, here is where we get tricky. We're going to be restanding 4 Don a turn from Asmir.
And we have the blocker as well.
I am thinking that this defending so aggressively our life early could be kind of biased us back on here. But we still have Taro. If we see another Sandy pudding, we probably have another way back into this. Otherwise, it is going to be getting risky trying to force through this defense with only leader and Taro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have seen a lot of counter events from Asmir. Like I think we are in gear 2 number 3. And we have seen one of the giants, but it's gonna be very difficult to push through this and we no longer have the MG abuse to thank for it. So yeah. Go for an 8, see what we can fish out of it. Yeah, my brother on chat. Welcome to the chat. He showcasing that I basically run the alt rarity of the leader and he gets to keep the 2-0 costs that look very amazing but are on board a lot less. And yeah, they're also a bit less expensive, to be honest.
We are seeing us park the Rush Luffy down here, and we're not going to be leader powering, and we're not going to be swinging. Looks like we're really gearing up for trying to make the push next turn rather than poking this turn. Which I respect this decision. I quite like it a lot because, especially with how many little cards in hand we have, we wouldn't be able to defend it if it swung. And we don't really want to be minusing 2 Don if we're wanting to set up a big restanding lethal next turn.
Yep. I'd probably argue that this is a play we might have benefited from doing a bit sooner, rather than pushing for life a bit more aggressively, just because like that's basically impossible to get rid of for Asmir other than finding the usually one copy of Gam Gam Red Rock, right? Red Hawk. Sorry, Red Rock. Yeah, not Red Hawk. Which is entirely feasible, but earlier on the game it would have been kind of atrocious, and it looks like Asmir might actually be going for game here.
I think we're just poking nines at this Luffy Taro, or even the 10 with the 9 cost Luffy, which I guess we're weighing up whether we want to fire off a Gum Gum Giant of our own to protect it.
I think I let go.
Asmith, Asmith's hand is looking big as well.
Yeah. Ooh.
This is unfortunate. We're discarding for DMG, which could be a useful offensive piece. We are finally taking our third life for Sebi here. And I think our lives will start crumbling down. Oh, a cheeky little magma trigger. And we
I'm
are
not.
just taking it all here.
I'm not sure
Two,
I
no,
like that attack actually. I don't think. I don't think that final six was needed because there's no way that Sebi gets to survive one more turn on the way back, right? So even if he's on one life, and the fact that that trigger gives you one more done could represent enough to lethal you out, even though 5 done is an insane amount. So we should be in a very good spot.
hitting two backward triggers on these 3 lives is absolutely wild.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we
It's
are running
not the
4
first time though.
Remittances. Certainly
I've
not.
had that happen to me before, and you have the zero cost event as well, right? So you usually run a total of 4 or 5 of this. It's unlikely, but not as insane as it sounds.
We are leading with a 10 here. We're not going to be maxing out on the Luffy re-swing. Um, how do you feel about swinging 10 here rather than 8? Because we are losing essentially 4 Dom, which could, well, that 2 Dom could have been doubled on the secret Luffy instead. But obviously,
Uh,
10 is a lovely number.
okay, we are now gonna be just going 11, 12. Sorry, double 12. One gets blocked, the other one gets gianted. And here too.
We
Onto
are
Dawn.
just going to fire off a 6 just to see. Alas, it does get 1K'd.
Mhm. And
And
that's
that
game.
game go straight to Asmir.
That's game for Asmir. I do feel like it would have been better to just swing a bit taller with the Luffy, but I do understand that 10 kind of being alright. It wouldn't have really made a big difference because he had the gear too as well, right? Like we did see pretty much every event uh, available for
Yep, I
Asmir on this spot, right? So
do
like if we
think
swing an 8, we just get defended with a gear 2, and then the 14 just gets Bagua plus Giant plus the 1K that we saw on the other hand. So we are pretty much on the exact same spot. Wouldn't have made a big difference. Shame though, because I do get the feeling it might have been slightly better to just let the Luffy Taro go, keep 2 more done available, and keep the DMG to rest the blocker and just go nuts with the with the Rush Luffy, right? Which would have been 13, 13, and 6K from leader. So it would have been a bit more effective towards lethal.
yep. We will. See. I wonder what Sebi will choose this way round because he did choose this going second on the first game. However, we
Yeah,
do know that Sebi hasn't played too much GP, so
yeah, and
we
this
will.
matchup is kind of a battle of memory muscle as well. It's fairly intuitive how aggressive you need to be and how important it is to like capitalize the turns where you can actually make them spend hand before the whole loop goes on. We did not see a Sanji, which brought us kind of a bit more time from Sebi's perspective to go. But as Chad is very correctly pointing out, thanks Jonathan, thanks for chatting. Always a pleasure to get people talking to us. Like that giant on 5 Dawn was very aggressive and kind of took away too many swinging resources from him and stopped the, the possibility of playing that Rush Luffy early on to set up.
I think a big unfortunate thing was in this going second curve from GP, we really want to see these Zoroduros not only on our 4 Don turn, but also on the 6 Don turn after we use our Sanji pudding and leader effect. And we didn't see any, which
Yeah.
really left us lacking for swings when our Sanji pudding got behawked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Zorojuro is one of the key parts here. It attacks folks at life for free, and that's exactly what we need to be doing. Zone management and efficiency is the key part of this. We see Sebi taking second again, so if he manages to pull away this game, we might actually see him going second 3 times in a row if Asmir agrees with our assessment of the situation. And we see him play the Zorojuro.
We do hit the Bagua trigger, and which allows us just straight up to play the Sanji pudding just that turn early.
Stand to Dawn, get a 6k. Probably gonna go for a big swing
The
here, or we
unfortunate
could play
thing,
one more searcher.
unfortunate thing is here, as Asmir's played the Zoro Freakle Zoro rather than a immediate ramper, Sebi does have more Dons than
Stage.
Asmir.
Mm-hmm. We are very exposed on this specific scenario to the what it called. I'm blanking out on the name to the God threat. That's it, and that is terrifying. Like I found myself stopping myself from doing this specific play as well, just because it gets really scary to expose your Sanji Pudding to God threat. If Asmir has it now, he gets to God threat, swing with Zoro Euro, and is Sebi in a very uncomfortable situation.
Certainly in the ideal world, if I had all the pieces in the world from Sebi's hand, you'd want to be probably Zoro drawing here, and then Luffy throwing the Sanji pudding the following turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like honestly, even playing a green Zoro and swinging 6 into Zoro Euro would have been a very good play. Zoro, the green Zoro itself wouldn't let you, but actually, it would have been quite interesting to get rid of it with the leader, right? Or take 2 cards out of Asmir's hand. Instead, both of the scenarios are very positive.
We do see the punish by Godfred here. We've seen Jonathan in chat has asked about maybe not using the optional effect from Sanji, just so that we could get the stage off there. And I certainly think that's a possibility. If we were committing to the Sanji pudding route, that probably is a better play, just to play around it.
Yes,
it does suck that we would be going -2 Dons. I guess it's
that's
kind of
that's
only
the problem.
-1 because of Bagua earlier on in the game, but
Yeah, that is kind of the problem. Like, it's all right, especially if we do have a second copy of Sanji Pudding and we do have a Zoro Euro, since we already have one on board. Protecting it would let you develop quite enough. But if you don't have like a follow up to do like Sanji Pudding Zoro Euro on the way back and swing 6-7, I think setting yourself back in Dawn might cause the same situation that we witnessed game one, where Sebi was just a bit short on Dawn to actually capitalize and take the game away. Sorry, the 6-7 on the mat would be you spend 5 on Sanji Pudding because you're on 5 again. You return to Dawn to Risten 2, both Sanji Pudding trigger, you get 4 Dawn up, your leader is a 6k, so you get to swing 6 with leader 7 with the original Sanji Pudding and then play the second Zoro Euro. Yeah, I don't recognize myself going far with this deck. I feel like I go a bit too quick with combat math, so yeah, hope the explanation made some sense.
We do see the Zorduro here. We do find another Sanji pudding. However, in this turn, we've not put any pressure on, and Asmir is very, very happy right here with 3 lives. Still has a Zorduro on board.
Yep. Yep.
At least Sebi has got a full hand now from taking the life. I guess that does always come with a caveat that pudding is a potential play here, especially with Asmir swinging such a big swing. It feels very bait here.
Yeah. Ooh. It's somewhat annoying, right? Because whatever decision you take, you're gonna be going down on an insane amount of cards being a 5k leader with this. Sebi's down to 4 cards in hand now.
You do drop 4 cards just to play around the pudding. I do wonder if Asmir even had this pudding in hand. I
Yeah.
I'm just
That's a,
checking Asmir's list. He is only running it as a one-off as well.
Hmm. I mean, that is a good spot to be on. You're on 3 life. You have to, your de-ramper, if you like your re-ramper, if you need to, leader ability is gonna be alive next turn. And you got rid of 4 cards out of hand.
To be honest, almost been tempted to play the pudding anyway there. Just
Mhm.
because if Sebi is fighting so hard not to be puddinged,
Yeah.
you could just chance the pudding him anyway, because especially because we knew he definitely had the Sanji pudding in hand. So he's clearly wanting to protect this Luffy Taro Sanji pudding combo.
Yeah. I I agree with you, but also you're setting yourself up to the gods of fate. And this is a good spot to be on anyways. Like there's not a lot of pressure that it can be safely saved with a gear 2 or a bagua that rams you, because why wouldn't it? Even though it's very not necessary. And now we are on the driver's seat, right? That Sanji pudding is protected of.
If we do see the optimal Sanji Mihawk drop here, then Sebi will be in a lot of trouble.
That is definitely not the ideal scenario to be on. But
But
once again, we are kind of in a more debatable spot here. Like on this space, I actually wouldn't be that opposed to protecting Luffy Taro over Sanji Pudding, just because if Asmir were to play this turn a God Thread and get rid of Sanji Pudding, I'm kind of chilling with that. I'm okay. I have no trouble with that
and
whatsoever.
we are leading with a 8k swing here, indicating that we don't have the 9 drop.
Hmm.
Instead, we're going to be combat mapping over this soldier and red rocking this Sanji pudding, which, while we're not developing anything, does feel like a very good spot for Asmir, actually. We know we're 2 Sanji puddings down, and we're basically just asking Sebi, does he have the third copy now?
That is very fair. We do know that Sebi has a. Well, maybe we do, maybe we don't actually, because I'm not too sure what countered with the zero cost event. But now a secret Luffy places some pressure. So this initial 8 poke hasn't really let Asmir do that many different things. Like if we have a Bagua to counter here and we give it, we could be on a fairly weird spot. So, Giant, keep filtering,
Yep.
over
Just to
countering
get filtering,
Giant, getting rid of that Bagua.
we're probably expecting to take 1 life here from Asmir's side. We do see a second Luffy Taro here to rebuild the board up from Sebi, and it is into a third copy of
Second
Sanji
Sanji
Pudding,
Pudding. Yep.
which does really punish that last play.
Yeah. Sanji Pudding recovers the Dawn. We are on 6 to 8. So we definitely can buff that Sanji Pudding up to 6k. Yeah. Kind of same dilemma, but right now we have two Luffy Taro, so there's no reason whatsoever to not protect that Sanji pudding anymore.
Oh, we do have the stage version. We
Oh,
can. So there potentially was a call for doing either both Luffy Taros or, as I would probably prefer to him, double buffing this Sanji pudding. It
mm-hmm.
does protect it from the Mihawk now. Especially seeing as
Yep.
that we know this is our third copy of Sanji pudding. We want to hold on to this for our lives.
Uh, okay, over here, I think I probably liked swinging 8 instead, though.
I'll just double checking the army of can it search the green cards, and yes, it can.
Yes, it can. It's only
That,
Zoro that's restricted. Nami
that
cannot search Namis, and I've seen myself in spots where I opened 3 green Namis with one of these and scarcely revealed my last 2 cards to figure out whether I could pick them up. But yeah.
it is a non searcher, so it does have that extra flexibility inbuilt in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is looking a bit more close than we were before. Like Asmir has been playing comfortably, but failing to develop a meaningful board, so there's nothing to contest those Luffy Taros with right now. And even if we manage to get rid of them of one of them through the Mihawk, we still have Sanji putting Luffy Taro and Leader to deal with next turn. And
Certainly,
DMG is on the board, so
we would be wanting to sort of, yeah. Normally, we would want to be having a Sanji here to develop our board. However, knowing that this DMG is in Sebi's hand, if we do play a 9-cost body here, our Don is going to be completely switched off, and we are going to be at the mercy of very big swings.
Mhm. There might be the case where we Sanji into Rocinante, and Rocinante is one of the main um, protagonists of this matchup as well. The same way Luffy Taro is the key card for Sebi, as well as the secret. I feel like there's almost no game that Blue Purple can win without dropping that 5-cost Rocinante at some point.
So very telling there. Sebi twitched his Don when Asmir swung 6k here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if we are very bricked up in Sebi's hand.
We could be. We do know there's a DMG.
We do get to play a
So
defense card off of this Sanji, but it is the worst of the two for the situation, knowing that there's a DMG in hand.
mm-hmm. I mean, it's not horrible. We did manage to filter, so we do get a bit more. But basically, a DMG is gonna only cost us 1 Don after lead ability, and we do have a lot of swings coming in for Asmir. We need to connect 3 out of the 4, which is not it's not that difficult, but it's also not that easy.
We are choosing to build up and play our fourth Sanji pudding this game, which
Mm-hmm.
is interesting.
Yeah, full playset coming up. We're gonna
It's
restart
always
for
nice
Dawn
to get
effectively.
the more Sanji puddings on board. However, I do wonder if this could have been a wasted opportunity to really pressure Asmir's hand size.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a good spot to be on, and honestly, you could even have gone for the like basically start poking 8s, and the second you get counter out of it, just swing at the rest of Nami and get rid of her.
However, if we do have a hand full of counter events in Sebi's hand, then this does seem pretty good. Oh. We are choosing to play the rushed Luffy, actually,
Mm-hmm.
which I did
Yeah,
not
but
expect.
we have buffed the Sanji pudding, so that Rush Luffy it's a prime target for removal this turn, and we do have a blocker in place.
Yeah. Gravity Blade would remove Rush Luffy and the rest of Sanji Pudding here.
Yep.
But
Which
it,
would be scary.
there is a potential we could bait into this Sanji Pudding to absorb, get some counter out of Sebi's hand before switching into that play, if we have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's down to Asmir now to take some decisions, but maybe there is some. Yeah, I mean, there is an argument to go lethal here.
I am wondering, we did see Asmir set aside his Don as a pile of 5 earlier, right at the start of this turn, but I do wonder if that is a bluff for the Gravity Blade. So I know I find myself doing that as a tactic quite a lot, bluffing
Mm-hmm.
potential cards like 5 cost rolls Dante to then not play them at all.
Mm-hmm. We get rid of the DMG. Definitely interesting. We are really trying not to die here to an even split between Nami and Sanji. And
No where we're firing this 10 off into. We don't have any done up from Sebi's side, so we are dropping to double 2k, so this would be at the Sanji Pudding.
mm-hmm.
And go, we do just play this 5 cost rolls Dante. We are going to discard this useless God Thread and draw some more fresh
Yep.
cards, which luckily we have stacked with our Luffy ability. And now we are going to have 4 hold on to play with this turn.
Yeah. That is at least scarier. Now, even if we have a DMG, it's not quite the same situation. I don't dislike the chances of Sevi going live either. And I feel like 8s will put him on an interesting position.
I certainly feel it all depends on what Sebi's hand here is. I do feel like GP Dolphin, GP Luffy can
Mhm.
survive very easily with just leaving Don up. So oh,
Uh,
there may even be a situation where we have to go for a game here, and just poking 8s will be a real good indicator of what we're going to do this turn.
mhm. That is very, very fair. But now Giant has a cost from this point onward, and Bagua is effectively dead to DMG. So there are some possibilities. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Do you like the hard counter here? Just play around the DMGs.
Hmm. That is precisely it. And now it's decisions because it does look quite a lot like Asmir does have the giant. Hello, Asakura. Welcome to chat. Always a pleasure to have you on. So now it's going to come down to how do we proceed to counter. It doesn't really look like we have another 2k, 1k to give. I would even venture to say we might be running a bit low on 2ks. Um,
Oh, we
giant
are
number
using the
2.
giant here, so we aren't going to be able to get the leader power off next turn. So we are committing quite a lot to this defense now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We
We are
reverse the
seeing
blocker.
Luffy Taro go to the trash to play Uso Hachi, so it looks like
Oh, wow.
we are hard committing for this lethal now, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. And now leader ability that will be giving us 4 done back with the Sanji puddings, and that's gonna be 6. We have one easy 6 swing, 7, and then 2 8s.
I have to say, I don't quite like our odds here.
Oh, we're just gonna go 3/8 instead. Fair enough. Yeah.
There's
Is
eight
that
number one.
connected? Are we gonna be able to take two of them? So that's 2K, 1K. And again, do we have another 2K? 2K, but no 1K. And
Oh,
Asmir loses that one.
very close.
That, yeah, that was very, 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 very close. Um,
That did feel very risky there, but I'm not entirely sure if we'd have been able to survive the follow-up turn if we didn't lethal there.
yeah,
Um, we did
that's a
obviously
very
have
fair
DMG
point.
and a Usohachi in hand, ready to defend if we did choose to go down a safer route.
Honestly, I would argue that Asmir had a reason to go for lethal the previous turn and ignore the Luffy Taros. Uh, a 9 swing into life would basically ask Sebi to give you all the counter he has or expose himself to a huge swing with Nami after having used the Olidon for Giant. So, genuinely, I think it might have been the play for Asmir because he was on a risky spot on board and with a bit more done optimization, just like exploiting a bit more the fact that the number of 2Ks run by Blue Purple is actually quite limited, and we had seen a couple of them. Just swinging sevens instead of eights to force him out of events would have been kind of brutal. But
Certainly
yeah,
do love 2K checking UP throughout the game.
yeah, it's definitely
Just
the
so
way to go.
those late games can swing the sevens on Sanji puddings and really punish them.
We are on 7 on this list specifically, which I feel like it's the standard number as well. Oh,
Yeah, but I
yeah,
think around 8 is quite standard. Um,
yeah, I think it's 7, 8. But I'm starting to feel like we see more sevens right now in the format just to fill in some more tech slots because it's kind of complicated otherwise. But anyway, in both cases, it's a fairly low number, and of course they can search for them with leader ability, and we had seen him pick up a couple eventually, but we've also seen them use it, and we had seen some weird countering to 6 swings. So I feel like we might have been a bit better on this spot just going that way to make sure they didn't get quick use of the 1K counters. Well, fair enough. Anyways, Sebi managed to pull this game. Some really good math at the end, and obviously the disgusting combination of Usohachi plus DMG to make things even more awkward.
Now, what will be interesting is seeing what Aspen wants to choose on this dice roll now. Will we see first GP versus second GP for the third time in a row, or will we be mixing it up?
That is interesting. Like we have mentioned before, right? Like this is a very close decision, and I've actually had been made both go first and second by UP opponents. I feel like both of us are a bit uncomfortable making the decisions, but from my experience, just feels a bit better to go first. You do want to be the aggressor,
And we
definitely.
do
And
see the roles reversed here.
okay, we're gonna see how this will end up in the way back. Are we gonna be finding a stage maybe if we don't already have one on hand? We have seen stage being played by turn two every game, and that can definitely make some differences, even though it didn't stop. God thread, previous time. Oh,
Ooh.
that is very interesting.
No.
I feel like that's probably telling us that he's a bit bricked, or he's really digging for a Sanji pudding, and this is the best next possible thing.
Yeah, we will see if this is getting played out, and it is getting played out here. The good thing is it won't be getting uh, God threaded this turn, at least. But what will be interesting now is if Asmir swings and he chooses not to deny this Zorojuro ramp.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting. And we are on 5 down now. We find the Sorajuro.
Annoyingly, we oh no, we do. We find the Green Zora.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's gonna be 4 and a 5 into that Sorajuro, which I actually no ramp in there.
oh no no.
There we go.
Oh,
There we go. That's gonna be a 4 and a 5, so 2 cuts out of hand for Asmir when he's starting on 3 life, and he really needs that ramp as well. So this is a very hard decision.
I feel like this is just way too many cards for to drop to protect us now.
That's gonna be 2-2 case as well. Oh my god. I respect the choice, but it's not painting a very
This
nice
I
picture
think
for
this is
Asmir.
pretty telling of Asmir because ongoing second curve, UP only realistically needs to ramp twice. Um, and if he's fighting this hard to protect the Zoroduro, it may mean he's very limited on his ramp options in hand. And playing this Blue Army does kind of support this theory.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. We don't have the second ramper. Bagua does nothing on this spot. So this is some interesting fighting. Nami replaces itself, so that at least doesn't decrease our hand size anymore. But we also know that there were no 1 case in hand the turn before. There's 4 new cards to add into the mix, so that's kind of not information, but still somewhat scary.
Here's the question now. I would personally be inclined to be swinging to the Zoroduro still. Um, just to stop the Tendon to play the Sanji, because even though we haven't leader powered from the UP side, we have just arranged our top cards with the Tsunami, so Sanji is not off the table next turn.
I like swinging with Zoro, but I actually would assume that Asmir would just let it go. Like there is no real reason to keep the Zoro Euro on board right now, unless we really want to take one of the life and get resources.
I do quite
Um,
like the free block option though.
do
I
you?
believe we are on 7 Don from Sebi.
I mean, I guess it's not free into leader, and we are not in a rush to do this. But like, I would even argue now, if I'm on Sebi's spot, I might have swung 6 into that Nami or 8, I suppose.
It's certainly a very odd line of play here. Um, we've not found the Sandy puddings from Sebi, and it looks like we're lacking ramp from Asmir's side as well. This is very off the beat to track in terms of our standard lines of play.
Now, this is one of those games where both of them are struggling to to do what their game plan is supposed to be.
I think
Um,
that's what can make the most interesting games from these top players is how they navigate when their decks don't perform.
mhm. Yeah, no, I had one of these games into. Uh, that is the least value Mihawk I've seen in a while, but it's still a 9k, double 9k on 9 down is.
9k body, and we did manage to set up this Nami to give us a really crazy sandy turn. In a situation where Sebi hasn't managed to establish his board, just having the most bodies on board is generally the best tactic.
Yeah, that is a very fair point.
Uh, we, we'll see. Unfortunately, Sebi hasn't managed to take any life, so we're really lacking on cards to even find extra answers. I'm assuming that we haven't snap played any searches, that we are looking pretty awkwardly.
We are just gonna be digging for life that way, I suppose.
We are just going to restand. And
Yeah, like
it
Asmir gave
feels
us 2 Ks
very
early
much.
on as well, right? So like those 7 swings are gonna be stingy. Uh, I would be very tempted to go like 7-7-9 on this spot to force a block off the Nami.
I wonder
And
if
maybe
this Luffy effect was purely just to try and draw another card off of life as well.
Yeah, if it finds a Sanji Pudding, you get to play it, use leader ability, develop board somehow, and swing again, or just leave it standing, and that way it cannot be easily dealt with through board. 3 life is kind of the magic number for this board, so we are not threatened by lethal quite yet. And that's Luffy Taro's Sanji Pudding, or Luffy Taro's Orojur, maybe. Luffy Taro, Sanji, nothing else, just Sanji.
Yep.
Um, okay, I don't hate
But
this.
Luffy -1 just putting us in the perfect place to being able to play this 6 Sanji.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think we already were, right? Because he was on 9 Dawn. So even without the Dawn -1, you're already 2 below.
Yes, that's true. Actually, we are.
Yeah, we were on equal 9s, and the 2 we got removed from Secret Luffy. Kind of did the trick there.
The scary thing is, we are seeing 7 and 9 swings come in to us while we're only at 5k base leader with $0 up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Sebi's going down to 0 life.
We do have a blocker, but we do know that Asmir is running this Rush Luffy in his list, which could punish.
Mm.
I'm gonna see this 0 cost coming very handy
Getting
again.
rid of a giant, to be specific, so that might be somewhat hinty.
Oh, the second blocker coming down from Asmir's side feels like we are starting to put the nails in the coffin.
This is not a spot I like to be on, if I'm being fully honest, but I've also seen war spots. We do get, if there's a DMG in the mix, I think I just rest the blockers and go for it.
Yeah, but certainly DMG prioritization is, can you get all of the dons or can you get all of the blockers?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Does chat have any guesses of as of what they'd like to be seen on this turn? I mean, funnily enough, we are also relatively safe from Sebi's side. If we manage to leave 3 Dawn up or something along those lines, we're kind of alright. Yeah. We
There
just
it
develop.
is. We are late to the party, but Sanji Pudding has finally crashed the wedding.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Now we do get some poking, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a matter of how much Don does Sebi want to leave up here. Certainly from how he's played this game, it wouldn't surprise me if his hand is full of counter events, especially because we saw Gum Gum the Gum Gum Giant off of the Gum Gum Gatling.
Mm-hmm. The 1K swing, 8K. Huh. 8K again. I don't like that sequencing though. I feel like we should have gone with Luffy Taro first.
Yep, Luffy Taro does certainly uh, hide our intentions a little bit more. Does keep the threat of restand still alive, although I guess with into double blockers it doesn't matter too much. So what is the real threat for game?
Mm-hmm. I do get that. I kind of liked a bit more maybe going 7 leader and 8 Luffy Taro and then 8 Rush Luffy or even 7 Rush Luffy again, depending on how the counter were happening. But not being able to take one life off of Asmir with this level of board is definitely not where we want to be. Rojuro doing his best role in the matchup so far, which is monkey counter.
I think
Mm,
5 Don left up on Sebi's side here.
mhm. That seems like a lot, actually. I guess it's giant time.
Giants and Bagmas, hopefully.
Don't like that block. Oh, we let it go.
Oh, we
That is
are
extremely
now
telling.
bored here.
That
I'm
is
wondering
extremely
if this
telling.
is DMGs, which don't so easily protect, which cannot protect board.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
do see the brick wall of Nami coming down here. We get
Mm-hmm.
the amount of cards Asmir has seen in his deck now with being able to lead a power 2 or 3 times, plus playing uh,
Dynamis.
3 Namis.
Yeah. And now it's 10 into life. Oh,
Oh,
10 into tarot. Okay, and that is not a story that we like to be told. I think we're out of options from the GP's perspective, though.
yep. I realistically cannot see a way for Sebi to get back into this game, which always sucks to say a casting. You always want to keep it going to the end, but
Mm-hmm.
this
I
does
mean,
look like a brick
maybe
wall.
if we chain like something along the lines of Sanji Pudding into Sorojuro or double Sanji Pudding, and then we restand with 5 Dawn and just poke 6-7 or 7-7, we could thwart a bit the situation, but still a single giant basically means Asmir is still growing hand size after this whole turn. So
We
okay,
are DMGing here. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if Sebi's hand was just DMGs. I'm not sure how many he's running in this list, but
yeah, I feel like that is a very fair point.
Asmi is just going to take this. He's not worried at all. He's
Giant number one.
yep,
Chat
we
is
are
showing
going to
you
get
the love. Hey
even
everyone.
more cycle.
Don't worry, you just need to stay for a bit longer. We are nearing the end of the match.
Good night, Rowan.
One more giant in hand. An insane amount of Namis. We genuinely can just leave Orton standing this turn and just split them across Sanji and
Honestly,
Mihawk.
even if Asmir passed turn here and gave Sebi a free turn, I don't think he'd even be able to get back into this.
Mm-mm. That is definitely not it. Okay,
We see a Nami trigger, which is
gambling
something.
time. Yep,
Yep, we do see the gum gum.
swing 10. Yep.
As they're just wondering how much should I poke here?
That's the classic. Okay, we're just gonna go 12.
Yep, 4 dot up, 3 blockers. We're just gonna be chilling.
We're giving a 2k out of that giant and another giant. Yeah, and size stays up.
But Dong goes through the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We are now gonna be staring down full UP board with while having 0 life. Only
Yep.
have 6 done. There is 2 blockers going, but we still have a third one.
The restand goes back. We're back on 5 down. 6 with leader. 7 with Sanji Pudding. Okay, that's fair enough. It's always delightful, isn't it? Okay, Upster. Okay.
There we go. Swinging with Nami.
With Nami. Ooh, and that's game.
That was very brutal game 3 there.